Today, we're diving into one of the most hot button topics in modern gaming culture, game keycards. You've seen the arguments, you've seen the outrage, you've probably seen the memes dunking on them. And yet, despite all of that negativity, new data shows that game keycards are still selling and selling well enough that publishers clearly aren't backing off. That contradiction between online backlash and real world consumer behavior is what makes this topic so fascinating and honestly so revealing about where the industry actually is versus where core gamers wish it was. For anyone who might not be fully familiar, game keycards are physical products that look like traditional box games but don't contain the full game on the cartridge or disc. Instead, they include a download key that requires an internet connection and storage space on your console. To many longtime players, this feels like the worst of both worlds. You truly don't own the game in a preservation sense, but you're also not getting the convenience of a pure digital purchase. That frustration has turned game keycards into a symbol of everything people dislike about modern gaming: corporate cost cutting, erosion of ownership, and the slow disappearance of true physical media. And yet, here's the reality check: sales numbers don't care about vibes. Retail data, publisher earning reports, and restock patterns all tell the same story. These products are moving, not just lingering on shelves, not just selling a handful of copies, but consistently performing well enough that companies continue to produce them. If game keycards were actually failing, they would already be gone. Publishers are ruthless when something doesn't sell, and the fact that this format keeps coming back tells us everything we need to know. A huge part of this comes down to how different the average buyer is from the online enthusiast crowd. The loudest voices criticizing game keycards tend to be collectors, preservationists, and hardcore fans, people who care deeply about physical ownership, future playability, and archival value. Those concerns are absolutely valid, but they also represent a relatively small slice of the overall gaming audience. Most buyers aren't thinking 10 or 20 years ahead. They're thinking about what they want to play this weekend. For casual players, parents, gift buyers, and even a lot of regular gamers, the difference between a cartridge and a download simply isn't a deal breaker. They already expect updates, they already expect installs, they already expect online connectivity. To them, a game keycard is just another way to access the game, especially if it's sitting right there on a store shelf and priced competitively. The outrage that dominates online spaces often never even enters their decision making process. Price plays a massive role here too. Game keycards frequently see deeper and faster discounts than fully physical releases. Without the higher manufacturing cost of cartridges or discs, publishers and retailers have more flexibility to cut prices. When someone walks into a store or scrolls through a sale and sees a popular title for significantly cheaper, ideology tends to take a back seat. Even players who say they hate keycards may still grab one when the price is right because at the end of the day, value wins. There's also the retail reality that a lot of discussions ignore. Physical shelf space is expensive, and true physical games don't always justify long term restocking. Game keycards give publishers a way to keep a title physically visible in stores long after traditional production would have stopped. That visibility matters. A product that exists on a shelf will sell simply because people can see it, touch it, and buy it without navigating digital storefronts. As long as retail remains part of the gaming ecosystem, this hybrid solution continues to make business sense. What's especially telling is how often online sentiment fails to predict real world outcomes. We've seen this time and time again in gaming history. Features get mocked, formats get ridiculed, and companies get accused of killing the industry, only for the data to show steady adoption anyway. Game keycards are just the latest examples of the gap between what gamers say they want and what they actually support with their wallets. Complaints flood social media, but purchases happen quietly and consistently. None of this means the criticism should be dismissed. Concerns about long term access, server shutdowns, and digital dependency are legitimate, and they're only going to grow as more games move away from traditional physical formats. Preservation is a real issue, and game keycards do complicate it. But from a publisher's perspective, concern doesn't outweigh performance. As long as the numbers justify the model, it will continue regardless of how unpopular it is in comment sections. In many ways, game keycards represent the uncomfortable middle ground of modern gaming. They exist because they satisfy just enough people, solve just enough business problems, and generate just enough revenue to stick around. They're not designed for collectors, they're not designed for historians. They're designed for scale, efficiency, and market reach, and by those metrics, they're working. Now, if you found this breakdown useful and you enjoy this kind of deeper look at gaming trends and industry shifts, do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. It genuinely helps the channel grow and it lets YouTube know this is content worth showing to more gamers like you. And if you want even more in depth content, be sure to check out my Patreon, where the latest Patreon exclusive takes a deep dive into games that were ahead of their time, titles that challenged expectations, pushed boundaries, and only got the recognition they deserved years later. If that sounds like your kind of discussion, the link is waiting for you. Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the channel. As always, game on.